Good morning. Welcome, welcome. We're going to start today's session with some breath work. Okay. The only true thing that we can control in life is our breath. So I want you to get comfortable, find a comfy seat. You can be in a chair, you can be on the ground like me. It doesn't really matter. Just find something comfortable where you can sit up tall and breathe for a few breaths. Okay. We're going to go for 10 here. So you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. You can just find a gaze and just breathe. Okay, we're going to go in through the nose, filling in as much of the lungs as possible, and out through the mouth. And what I want you to do is think about how big your lungs actually are, how much space they can take up, how much air you can get into them. All right, so find your comfortable position. I'm going to close my eyes just because it helps me to focus on the actual pieces of my body that I'm working with. Okay, so here we go. Big inhale. Try to get that breath bigger and bigger with each breath that you take. Fill that belly up. Two more big breaths. Last one. Full inhale and hold. And slowly exhale. Nice work. 10 big, healthy breaths to start your day. You might feel a little tingly. You might feel some coolness radiating throughout your body. And that is exactly what we want. All right. So let's get into some yoga, shall we? Broga, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. So let's just start bringing the shoulders back and forth, forward and back, and just send some blood to those body parts. Shoulders retract, shoulders protract, shoulders retract, shoulders protract. And what I'm going to have you do, whatever seated position you're in, is I want you to start extending the spine and then flexing the spine, extending the spine and flexing the spine. Extend and flex. And try to get a little bit more extension each rep that you do and a little bit more flexion each rep that you do. You can see I'm kind of tucking my tailbone underneath. Extend that spine, draw the shoulders back, elbows back, flex that spine, shoulders forward, tailbone tucked, head forward. We got 5 more, nice and gentle, nice and easy. I want you to really flex through these. So when I'm reaching, I'm not just letting my arms relax. I'm flexing everything, turning it on. Move through the end of that range, end of the range. Try to get a little bit deeper into that movement. I'm dropping my head a little lower, tucking my tailbone a little bit more. Chin a little higher, chest a little more pronounced, glutes on. 3 more. Reach. 2 more. Flex. Flex. Last one. Big extension. Tailbone is sticking out. Chest is nice and high. Chin is nice and high. Shoulders drawn down and back. Elbows back behind you. And reach and flex. Wiggle those fingers. Now I want you to plant your hands on the ground. I'm going to turn into kind of a diagonal position here, and I want you to, if you're kneeling, lean forward, tuck your toes. If you're in a chair, come on down to the ground. And I want you to just put your weight back on your toes just a little bit and push your body back. Knees come up, knees come back down. Knees come up, knees come back down. We're just warming the feet up, warming the knees up, warming the ankles up. For 2, for 3, for 4. We got 10 of these. And remember, quality reps over quantity always. 5, 6. If you can't reach the ground, you can just put your hands up on something. All we need is this movement here. 7, 8, 9. And if you can't get into any of these positions, just hit me up in the comments and we will get you sorted out. Promise. Okay. Now let's come to tabletop, and we're just going to gently shift our hips to the right or to the back and shift forward. Hips and shoulders shift back, shift forward, shift back, shift forward, or shift left, shift right. I'm just talking in camera angles here. 5 more. Warming those hips up. 4 more. Warming those shoulders up in the spine. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And let's plant those toes, tuck your toes, and send those hips up to the sky into a downward facing dog. Now, what I want you to do in the downward facing dog is you're going to kind of walk your dog, kind of pedal your legs out, if you will, and paw the ground with your hands. And you're going to try to open your shoulder blades up and away from your ears. So your shoulder blades like to stay like this, but what I'd like you to try to do is peel them down and back and away from your ears. There's all that desk sitting, all that driving. We're externally rotating. You see my biceps. I'm peeling them away from the ears. And we're just gently patting the ground, pawing. And if you want to add a little kind of hip wag in, canine terms here. Ugh. This is just a really, really great position to load the shoulders and get those shoulder blades away from your ears. And now what I want you to do is you're going to shift forward into a plank, right? Nothing fancy about it, but you're just, everything's nice and linear. Shoulders, hips, knees, toes, and then right back to a downward facing dog. See if you can get a little bit deeper into your dog this time. Your shirt's gonna come up. Just deal with it. It's fine. We've all got belly buttons. We've all got that low back area. Just, embrace it. You're going to be fine. Get dynamic with your downward facing dog. You can see that I'm twisting my feet. I'm twisting my hips and stretching out the sides of the feet and the ankles, all while I'm keeping this area open. And anytime you need to come down and take a break, just shake those hands out. That's totally fine, right? Just jump back in whenever you're ready. Okay. So downward facing dog. We're going to keep it pretty simple today. Nothing cray-cray. I want to take you through some of the basic movements that we should all be able to do. Let's come back into that plank and squeeze glutes, squeeze tummy, squeeze triceps, squeeze your quads, and straighten those legs out. We don't want to be down here. If you need to come to your knees, that's totally fine, but try your best not to. And then back to downward facing dog, so you can get a little bit deeper into your dog. And let's start with some, yes, I would like the whipped cream on my Irish coffee, please. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And no, I would not like the habanero pepper in my smoothie. That does not sound good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make sure you're locking those arms out, peeling the biceps away, and let's walk, and then come back to that high plank. Nice and easy. Squeeze glutes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, let's take the left leg, drop your heels down to the ground as best you can, and I want you to kick your left leg up 5 times, okay? So you're going to lift and lower, lift and lower. Lift, that's 3. Your shoulders should be burning a little bit. That's 4. And lift and hold for 5, 4. Feel the stretch in that right hamstring. 3, 2. right here beside your left hand. Okay, so now we're in a runner's lunge. Got my left leg, or my right leg is shooting straight back behind me. I am on my right knee in the back, and we're just going to check in with our hips and gently shift right to left, right to left, side to side. Oh, yeah, got a little hip tension in there this morning. We're just checking in with everything. Now once we get to about 10 or so, there's no strict process here. I want you to go by what you feel, what feels good. Once we get to about 10 or so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to untuck this back foot, and I want you to shift those hips back and try to lengthen this front leg out as far as you can. So from profile, I'm shifting forward and shifting back and stretching out this hamstring. Shift forward, shift backward for 3, shift forward, shift the hips back for 4, nice work, shift forward, shift backward for 4, shift forward, shift backward for 5, forward and back for 6, forward, back for 7, shift forward, shift back for 8, for 9, and last one we're going to hold. I'm going to add a little bit of that cayenne pepper we were talking about. So this leg is nice and straight. Your hamstrings on stretch. What I want you to do is you're going to rotate that foot and let the femur follow. In and out. We got 10. We got 9. Try to get the big toe as close to the ground as possible. Little toe as close to the ground as possible. 8. Tick tock. 7. 6. Your hips and hams are going to thank you for this later, promise. 5. 4. Little toe as close to the ground as possible. Big toe. 3. 2. 1 more. And you're awesome. Very nice. Now let's plant that foot, shift our hips back forward. Now we're going to push into the ground with our arms, with our chest, with our heart. Lift through the hips and heart. And high plank, downward facing dog. Now we're still working on this left side, front, whatever side you want to. Just stay with that side. I'm going to have you walk your dog for just a few moments, see if you can get deeper into that downward facing dog. Remember, peel those shoulders away from the ears. And now we're going to lift our legs up again. And I want you to really drive with your hands and open the hips up and out to the left. Right? And or yeah, correct? Question mark. And now my knee is up pretty high. Let me turn so you can see me a little better here. So I'm three-legged dog here, and then I'm going to open my hips up to the right and try to fold my leg back. And I want you to rotate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clockwise, and then 1. I'm hitting the slack line behind me. 2, 3, 4, 5 counterclockwise, and now we're going to swing down and through and land in our first pigeon pose of the day. Okay, so when you're in pigeon pose, I want you to think, oh, I've got these kind of pistols on my hips, right? I don't want my pistols pointing out this way. I want you to have your pistols pointed right at the ground. I'll show you this diagonal position again. Pistols are pointing right towards the ground, and we're breathing into this hip. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths because guess what? Your hips are probably tight. If you're a human being functioning in the modern world, then you've got tight hips and probably underactive glues. And we aim to change that here. So we're on breath number 4, something along those lines. Drive into the ground. How are we feeling? Things starting to release a little bit, hopefully. Millimeters go miles here, so any kind of benefit is, well, it's just that. It's a benefit. We'll take all our small wins, celebrate those, okay? 2 more big breaths. 1 more big breath. And here we go, lifting through the hips and the heart. Push into the ground, lift up, put that foot back into that original position. We're at a high plank now. Downward facing dog again. moving slow, trying to get deeper into our tissues, deeper into these angles, and just walk your dog, drive that left heel down, straighten that left knee out, and bend your right knee. And now what I want you to do is wag your hips right and left for 3, for 2, getting deeper into the hips, right where the hamstrings meet the glutes, 1, and now switch your legs, drive the palms into the ground, grip with the fingers, drive the right heel down, lift that left foot up and wag hips, right to left, 3, 4, 5, and now I want you to plant the left heel and kick that right leg up, and we got another slack line, so I'm going to come in closer to you, heel down, left heel down, right heel up for 1, right leg up, 2, and we're going to swing that right foot, land it right by our right hand. One more time, hold it up high, 3-legged dog as best you can, squeeze that right butt cheek, and 3, 2, 1, swing through, land that right foot right beside your right hand. Land the left knee in the back, and then we're just side to side, nice and easy, okay? Shift, check in with your body, scan, see what feels good, see what needs some attention, shifting to the right, shifting to the left, shifting to the right, shifting to the left. And if you've got like I've got a left adductor right in here, it's like, oh, wow, that's pretty tight. Take a beat, right? Pause the video and just breathe into that. I like to set a number for my breaths that I'm going to focus on a particular tissue. So like right now, I will have done like 5 deep, slow breaths on that adductor complex. It's much more reasonable than just constantly checking your watch and seeing what the time is. Keeps you focused in the moment. And when you're focused on your breath, we're going to start our hips moving backwards. When you're focused on your breath, oh, hips moving back. Hello, hamstring on the right side. Hips moving forward. When you're focused on your breath, you can stay in kind of syncopation with what we're trying to do, which is lengthen out your tissues, right? You're probably dehydrated, you're probably overworked, and you're probably compacted tissues, right? So dehydrated, overworked, and compacted. That, my friends, just keep moving through this Samson lunge. That, my friends, is a recipe for dis-ease. So that's what we're working to alleviate today through just a little simple, easy movement that you can do wherever you are as long as gravity works. All right, so that's about 6, and we've got 4 more, please. We've got 3 more. We've got 2 more. We've got 1 more time. Good stuff. Now let's hold this extended position, and we're going to start our little tick-tocks with our feet in and out, in and out. Well, that's in, isn't it? And out. That's 3. Big toe as close to the ground as possible. Little toe as close to the ground as possible. 4, 5, 6. We're kind of wringing out the sponge that is the hamstring. 7. You should be getting some nice length from the low back too. 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Good. Now let's land that foot. Come forward again into our runner's lunge. I'm going to tuck this toe in the back. I'm going to lift through the hips and the heart. Park that right foot back beside the left foot. And we're going down or back up into our downward facing dog. And I want you to find a little bit deeper. I'm always doing this neck stuff because I've got neck and shoulder issues. But I want you to find a little bit deeper position. Push your chest towards your toes. Push your nose towards your toes. Try to open those scapula up. Externally rotate the biceps. So point your biceps right at the screen. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to kick that right leg up again, drive your left heel down into the ground, and really use your paws up front to come into that downward 3-legged dog, and then open the hips, drive, push with your left shoulder, and then control your pitch with your right hand. And we've got our knee nice and high, and we're folding it up, and we've got our starter circles. I just happen to start clockwise. You can go whichever way you want. Just make sure you go the opposite way after you get 5 good, big, slow circles. 4 and 5 And big circles. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And now we go from the scorpion, and we're going to swing through to our pigeon pose. And lo and behold, we're breathing again. All right. So make sure that your pistols are pointed straight down at the ground, not off to the side. And we're just breathing. Okay. Always be scanning. This is a good opportunity to well, I mean, every opportunity is a good opportunity to be aware of your body. But when we're in this kind of, it's not a downward dog, your shoulders get to rest. You can just use gravity to open your hips up. But when we're in this position, really think to yourself, like, hey, how do my hips feel? How does my back hip flexor feel in relation to my, my glute here? Anyway, and it's just always good to be asking questions of yourself so that you can, optimize. All right, so let's go 3 more big breaths. I'm going to bring my shoulders up a little bit higher over my hips. That's going to increase that load on my right glute, which is my power side. So it's a little more overdeveloped than my left side. So I've got more work to do on the right side. So that's that. All right, and from this position, we're going to now plant our hands. Make sure you're using your paws and your claws here to distribute the weight evenly throughout the hand. Grip in, lift through hips and heart, tuck the toe in the back, and now we're back to our plank position. Okie dokie. From this point, let's go back into a downward facing dog, and I want you to pad your paws and claws, walk your feet. 3, 2, 1, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, what I want you to do is you're just going to step forward, drop your knee, and let's come up into a kneeling position. Now, from this position, what we're going to do is it's a shoulder car, right? If you're in the kin stretch class with me, you know what a shoulder car is, but we're going to work through this, reach back, and this time I do want you to rotate. We're going to rotate, try to find a point on the wall, get back there, and then I'm internally rotating and diving down, hand right by the hip. Go into flexion, look back at that wall. As you look back, you're externally rotating. This is under tension, externally rotating back to extension, down and around. So it's like this big, grandiose kind of softball pitch, I guess. But I don't want you to just wang, 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 wang through. That's easy, and it's also passive range. I want to work through active range, rotate from the spine. If you want to push yourself open with the hips, try not to hyperextend too much. Open, internally rotate, and park the knuckles right by the pocket. I should probably just turn sideways like this. And then we go back into flexion, open that spine up, open the chest up, externally rotate back down and around. Again, under flexion, you can see the difference in the tension in my arm when it's not flexed versus when I'm irradiating. Okay, so next rep here, externally rotate, irradiate, bring it around, open, open, open. We are not just isolating this joint today. We're opening the spine, reaching back, looking back as far as we can, and then internally rotating when we get to the end of that extension, extension, yes, and then turning into extension. Now back to flexion. Kick your arm back. These anatomical terms don't matter for you. They're more for me to keep track of what we're doing. And bring it right back down. Now, what we're going to do is I want you to reach up to the sky and reach down, below, and underneath. Put your fingers up. Land your palm as far back behind you as you can. Reach up to the sky, and I am using my hand on my opposite knee for bracing, and reach underneath for 2. Reach up to the sky, pushing the hips forward, opening the hips, finding more range and space, and reach right back down and through. Reach up to the sky, reach right back down and through. Up, down and through. That's 5. We're halfway there. Reach up to the sky, nice tall spine. Down and through. 4 more. Reach up to the sky, down and through. Reach up to the sky, down and through. 2 more. Reach up. Big, tall spine. Open that rib cage up. Retract the shoulder blades. Down and through. Last one. Reach up to the sky. down and through, and land both hands. Switch the knees. Nothing ceremonious about it. This is broga, remember? No traditions here. We're just making you into a better version of yourself. All right, so we've got this kneeling position, and we are going to go through our, we'll call it a dynamic car, right? Because we're not strictly isolating the shoulder capsule itself, but we are going to start with external. We're still doing a controlled articular rotation. So let's externally rotate, irradiate, bring it up and around, over. Now, traditionally, we would keep the chest facing this way, but today we're opening and creating rotation and then still reaching back as far as we freaking can. Then internally rotate at your highest point, come back down and land it. Now send it right back out under tension. Externally rotate, bring it around and down, and I want you flexing through that movement, right? Arm off, arm on, shoulder off, shoulder on. So we're wringing out that tissue. Externally rotate, bring it up, 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 up. Fight for more, fight for more. Brace yourself against this knee. Over. Internally rotate at your maximum end range. Always work towards end range. Internally rotate, wring that tissue out, bring it down, around, and park it. Flexion, rotation, up to extension, right back down to neutral. One more time. Externally rotate, irradiate, cross the midline of the body, up, 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 up. Internally rotate, right back down, park it. And awesome, very good. Now we're going to reach straight up to the sky, open that rib cage up, try to get as much distance from your knee through to your hip, through to your shoulder, all the ribs, elbow into the sky, and then reach down, dive down. You can brace yourself on the back knee here, and big inhale while you reach. I feel like it should be an album cover or something. This is your album cover. We're going to call this the album cover. There's 2. There's 3. If you're not comfortable with your hand on your knee while you're reaching underneath, by all means, put your hand on the ground here. That's totally kosher. That's 4. We want to make you feel comfortable in your skin. That's the whole point of what we're doing. That's 5. Reach it up. That's 6. Open those shoulders. That's 7. That's 8. That's 9. We got 1 more. Let's make it awesome. And reach through. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's 10. Let's bring it back down to the ground into a child's pose. And I want you to shift right, shift left. Nice wide knees. Shift right, shift left, shift right, shift left. And breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And excellent work. Okay, grab a comfortable seat. We're going to end things, sit, right? As 20 minutes of work, 25 minutes of work, some breath work, which I would say is just as important, if not more. And we're going to end with some breath work as well. Okay, so get comfy, close your eyes if you want. We got 10 big deep breaths. Try to stay with my pace if you can, okay? Five more big breaths. Here we go. One more. Excellent work. Okay. You, my friends, are free to go. I hope you have an amazing day. Again, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Any aches, pains, things like that. That's what we're here to help you solve. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time. Peace.